what?
Yeah. So there were a couple of big gaming events over the last week or so. First of which I do want to talk about was that Unreal Engine showcase, which gave us some really interesting quote unquote gameplay for The Witcher 4. It wasn't technically The Witcher 4, but it was a tech demo showcasing the newest version of Unreal Engine. It was kind of a demo made specifically in the world of The Witcher 4. So again, not necessarily gameplay, but showing you a concept of what that gameplay could look like. The moment I saw it, it looked like literally the most beautiful, stunning, breathtaking game I have ever seen. And if we get even a fraction of that in the full release of this game, and it seems like it's still years out, I would say maybe 2026, 2027 potentially. Like, I think the version of the engine that they showed at that showcase is just the beginning, and we are still not necessarily technologically there to have all of these things in a fully fledged, full running game. But it got me so excited. Like, I really do like the Witcher world. I enjoyed the show for what it was. I've tried to play some of the games before, but I've never really gotten into them. But this really does make me excited because I want to play this new game. So I'm going to go back and play all the other ones. I've got The Witcher 1. I got it for free at one point. Again, free game that I never downloaded, never played. Downloaded it, so I'm going to have to play that. I've got Witcher 2, and then I'll finally get Witcher 3, play through all of those. I'm very excited, needless to say. I think that is one of my most anticipated games, and one of the games outside of the scope that I would normally play, which is great. Next up, 007 First Light, the new James Bond game with, again, Dexter reference. Original Sin Dexter is the actor who is playing James Bond. Youngest James Bond. I think he's supposed to be like 26 in the game. Basically, Bond's early years, made by the Hitman developers. So it looks very much so like a Hitman game. It looks very good. Like, it, graphically not as crazy as The Witcher, but it looks like it's going to be a fun game. James Bond games historically in the past, think of, 007 GoldenEye, things like that, have been fairly popular. This is a release for next year as well, it seems like. But yeah, I'm excited for this one. And again, I think the fact that we've got another Dexter reference makes me even more excited. I was already kind of intrigued by this game, but now they have my attention for sure. A game that was revealed, announced, is already out, was in beta, and fully went into its full launch. Splitgate 2. Think about Splitgate 2 as a mix between Portal and Halo. So it's a first-person shooter, arena shooter. You've got, but you also have portals that you can, throw on different walls around the map to use for traversal and everything like that. Was made by a small development studio that basically were Halo, Call of Duty fans, that sort of thing, and they wanted to make their own version of it. Now, where the dilemma comes in is when they announced, hey, the game is out. On stage, they were like, we're tired of playing the same Call of Duty year after year. We want Titanfall 3, all these sort of things. And they're like, the game is out, and here's our Battle Royale, which every other game does, which was a little interesting, to say the least. I have not personally played the Battle Royale. I've played the multiplayer. I actually really, really enjoy it. But yeah, it's an odd choice for them to hype up this extra mode, and it's a Battle Royale, again, same as every other game. And the other big thing, too, is there was a little bit of a controversy with microtransactions, or large large transactions, just normal transactions. They were selling a originally priced like $140 bundle for the low price of $80. And everybody was, very upset about that. So they actually ended up changing it. They dropped the price down to $40. Still ridiculous for like a skin and camo bundle, but I do think Splitgate 2 has some opportunities to be really good. I think it could be fun to watch, competitively or just play from time to time with buddies and things like that. Not a very crazy commitment, but it is cool to have that, especially after they shut down X-Defiant, which was basically Ubisoft's kind of like Call of Duty hero shootery sort of thing. But yeah, Splitgate 2 is pretty fun. I'm excited to play a little bit more of it, and it definitely does kind of scratch that Halo itch a little bit. Kind of on the topic of Halo, Destiny 2 is getting a new expansion called The Edge of Fate, and it's basically as close as we're going to get to a Destiny 3. For now, they're changing how power levels work. They're adding, different weapons, abilities, things like that, changing how the armor system works, changing kind of the meta of the game, it seems like. And Destiny is a game that I've been playing since the beginning. Destiny 2 has gone through many, many different iterations, many, many different phases. It's a completely different game than where it launched. And they're going into a new era. They kind of finished the original storyline last year with the final shape. And they're going into this kind of new era of Destiny. And this looks fun. It's coming out next month. There's plans for a kind of Star Wars themed season towards the end of the year, and it seems like there's actually going to be lightsabers and all that kind of stuff. So that is going to be very, very interesting. Destiny is one of those games that I hop in when the new expansion drops, absolutely grind it for a month, and then drop it once I've kind of done all I can do in there. But Destiny is that old friend that you always come back to no matter what. So I'm excited for that. Something that Darren, you can kind of chime in here. The next thing is the new Fortnite season, coinciding with the Superman release. Is we've got a kind of superhero themed season, Superman skin, Robin skin. There's a little bit of controversy online because it's the Tim Drake Robin, and they put him on a little skyline next to Starfire, and they're like, Fortnite, delete this now, wrong Robin. And then they were like, can Tim Drake not just have friends? And I thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, I mean, it's another Fortnite season. Not, oddly enough, not quite as appealing to me as the Star Wars season was. But I'm excited. I'll probably hop in. I'll play. I'll get my Superman skin.
I've been enjoying this new season quite a bit, the little bit I've played. I think there's a lot of fun motifs in this season. I don't know how much you've played yet, if you've played it all yet. But
not yet. I've downloaded it, though.
There's this new ranking system within game that's been really fun, where you start off as a C level, and there's certain things on the map you can't get unless you raise your level up. Certain chests and certain weapons, certain areas you can't go into, certain doors you can't go into unless you raise your level up throughout the game. That's cool. With just the more you do, and it's a fun little thing, extra thing to do within the game that's really fun. And I'm liking all the little power-ups and stuff throughout the game. I don't know if you've seen the clips of crypto, but you have the crypto tree, you throw it down and he slams people to the ground. It's this is awesome. And
I've seen the Superman ability where he can slam down and catapult a truck and things like that.
Yeah, there's those little sprite things where one is Superman's laser vision. You can just
yeah. And I saw people making awesome. The boys references with it and stuff like that.
Was so funny. Yeah, it's that's actually a Superman reference, not the boys. All right.
Yeah.
Not Homelander. Come on, guys.
But no, it looks fun. It looks fun. I think
I'm holding out. There was rumors, and I don't think it's true at all, but there was rumors back when we first heard it was a hero season. People were like, a Ben 10 skin? Are we going to get a Ben 10 skin finally? I don't think so. But
we'll get a Ben 10 skin when we get lightsaber pickaxes, which is probably never going to happen. I actually think a Ben 10 skin is more likely than lightsaber pickaxes at this point.
But just have Epic make a whole Ben 10 game. That's a whole thing they could do over there. That'd be awesome.
A Ben 10 game in the new Unreal Engine that they showed off for The Witcher. So that would be amazing. I think that the new Fortnite season looks pretty good. Again, it's very interesting that I am somebody who's enjoying Fortnite now. But I'm not really playing the Battle Royale a ton. I've been playing a lot of creative maps. There's some zombie maps and things like that. Things that literally look like Call of Duty zombie maps
Hmm.
in Fortnite, and that's how I'm playing and enjoying it. And a
It's
lot of festival too, because I got the Riffmaster guitar, which I'm literally just playing Guitar Hero. So
it's so interesting, not to go on like a side tangent,
yeah, no, you're
but
good.
it's interesting to see how Fortnite's evolved within the last like year and a half or so, because it's really turned more into like a Roblox styled
It
game
is.
where
It is.
it's not just the battle royale. It's like, hey, here's like a like obstacle course game, and here's like an
Mm-hmm.
unlimited shooter, and
And
here's
they got rocket racing
Lego,
in
and it's
there.
like
Lego, yeah. And here, it's so ironic too, is all of these other game companies are still trying to copy Fortnite. Like I just said with Splitgate, they're making their own version of a battle royale. Why does every live service game have a battle pass and a battle royale
right,
and brand collaborations? All of that stuff started with Fortnite
right,
for the most part.
and you're not going to ever outlive Fortnite.
You
Like
can't capture lightning in a bottle twice.
there's no way you can do it again. Like some have come close. Like there's some,
Yeah,
there's Apex and like a PUBG that was like, like
yeah.
they're also
And
popular,
Call of
right?
Duty Warzone is very popular too.
Right, but it's gonna be very hard for someone new to come up in here. It's like, hey, do you want
No.
to try mine? It's like, well, no, we have like three just that are way better, and we've been playing for years. Why would we
Yeah.
go to
And
that one that does the exact same thing?
kind of a side tangent to your side tangent. Extraction shooters becoming a big thing too, and kind of on the topic of Bungie with their marathon game is an extraction shooter in the same vein as Escape from Tarkov, which is a game I haven't played, but my brother's a big fan of it. And again, that was kind of the first of the extraction shooter type, and other games have tried to replicate that. Again, Call of Duty has tried to replicate it to not very much success, but they've tried to replicate it in the past. And I really wish that developers would not try to necessarily lean so heavily into the big trendy mode at the moment. Like I think really the biggest thing, and that kind of transitions fairly nicely into to one of the next topics here, is that Call of Duty has done that a ton in the past, is trying to like bring out the relevant game type, whether that be battle royale or extraction or whatever it might be at that point, and then neglect their other modes. Like Black Ops 4 literally didn't have a campaign because battle royale was so popular, and they made a battle royale in there instead of that. A lot of the multiplayer maps now are ripped straight from the Warzone maps, which is their battle royale, that sort of thing. So it just, again, maybe it's just me that's not a massive fan of those types of games or game modes, but I wish that they would stick more to their guns and their uniqueness, which again sets up perfectly for Black Ops 7. This was revealed at the Xbox showcase right at the end as kind of like a, hey, we've got one last trailer for you guys, but nobody knew what it was going into it. There are reactions out there from people that don't realize that it is the Black Ops 7 trailer until you get the Black Ops like title card, or until you hear the names of these characters. Yeah, so it looks so completely different. It's a near future game set in 2035. So it is a direct sequel to Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 6. I know to you that doesn't make any sense that it's a sequel to 2 and 6, but you are following David Mason as your point of view character, who is from from Black Ops 1, is Mason's son. You've got Raul Menendez back, which somewhat kind of confirms what ending is canon for Black Ops 2. It leads a lot into some stuff that you get for Black Ops 4 and Black Ops 3. I know I said those out of order, but it's because Black Ops 4 actually takes place before Black Ops 3. Again, very, very confusing kind of stuff there, but they are really leaning into like the trippy, mind melty sort of thing with this campaign. Like we've had some of those types of missions before in the Black Ops series. Like it's very much so, it starts in kind of like the Cold War era with a lot of stuff in like Project MK Ultra and like mind alteration and mind control, hallucinations, that sort of thing. But we've got like upside down buildings and giant knives being thrown into the ground and like just random stuff like that, which you might get for a mission here or there in a previous Call of Duty game, but that seems to be the main focus of the entire game. And sort of the tagline for this is "Embrace the Madness," which is great, and I think that is awesome. And yeah, Cameron, I see you mentioned that is Michael Rooker is back as Harper, which again very much so confirms a lot of the different elements. So Black Ops 2 had a campaign where it had multiple different outcomes depending on who you decided to save or kill, whatever. Harper was a character that could have either survived or died. Menendez, the main villain, is a character that could have either survived or died. And right now, though, the theory is that while, yes, we see Menendez in the trailer, the canon ending is the one where he actually died. So it's going to be very, very interesting. I'm very excited for this campaign. There's going to be a co-op element to it as well, so you can play it with friends. There are some rumors that there's a lot of open world aspects which tie into, unfortunately, the Warzone map with Avalon. But I'm very, very excited though for all of this kind of Black Ops 2 continuation here with the rivalry between Mason and Menendez. Like I said, a lot of big name actors in here too. Michael Rooker is back. Funny enough, Sabrina from Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is in this game. Yeah, the actress is in this game. But no, this game looks insane. It's very much so different than what we've come to expect in the past. We've got zombies coming back. It's most likely going to be a Transit remake, which is insane as well. All of these maps are quote unquote set in the heart of the Dark Ether. So that's going to be super cool as well. The return of possibly a new version of the original crew, supposedly kind of in between Primus and Ultimus, as well as there's going to be a full reveal later this summer. A lot of people think it's going to be June 20th, which coincides with the release of the video that Menendez put up post-death in Black Ops 2. It released June 20th, 2025. So again, Black Ops 2, the main or present day of that storyline was 2025, and I absolutely love what they're doing. Yeah, so all of those elements kind of coming together here, and this is also going to be the first time that we've ever had two Black Ops games released back-to-back. So this past year was Black Ops 6, this year's Black Ops 7. They usually alternate them, so it's usually a Treyarch title, an Infinity Ward title, and then a Sledgehammer Games title, which is usually Black Ops, Modern Warfare, and then whatever Sledgehammer's working on, whether that be advanced or in the past. But yeah, this is going to be super cool. I'm so excited. Like, I know I say this every year, but I don't think my hype levels for a Call of Duty game have been this big. Like, Black Ops 2 is my favorite Call of Duty of all time. And this being a direct sequel to that is going to be incredible. This is going to be incredible. Speaking of one of my other favorite games of all time, Halo. A lot of people were upset that Halo was not at this Xbox showcase. Halo is kind of the Xbox game that started it all. Halo was the Xbox game that started it all. This was like the big selling point for the original Xbox back in the day, was Halo Combat Evolved. And apparently there's a rumor, and one of the Xbox heads kind of teased that there was a game that wasn't shown off that is a fan favorite that will be revealed later on. There is a Halo competitive tournament / convention later on this year. I think it's in October, Halo World Champions. And the current rumor is that they're going to reveal a remake of Halo Combat Evolved to coincide with the big 25th anniversary of Xbox. So that would be insane. They've kind of updated from 343 Industries was the developer of Halo previously, and they're now rebranded as Halo Studios. They showed off their own version of a tech demo at some point last year with them working in Unreal Engine as well. So a lot of developers are making the switch to Unreal, just kind of showing what they could do in that engine. So right now, the current thought is that all of these, or any future Halo project, but especially this Halo Combat Evolved remake, could be in, Unreal Engine. And again, it's a complete remake, not necessarily just a remaster, which could be really, really cool. We've had a Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary Edition, a remaster previously. It's part of the Master Chief Collection as well. But fully remaking Combat Evolved for a new generation of players could be very, very interesting, and could give us a good idea of where they're heading later on with the Halo series. Finally, getting you back into the conversation, the Invincible versus 3v3 fighting game, which I saw a lot of the internet very, very excited for. I am not necessarily a fan of these types of games as far as, just your sort of Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Injustice-y kind of games. Like, I'll play them from time to time, but, like, it's not something that I'd put a big investment of time into. And I'm very much so still holding out hope for that AAA Invincible game that has been rumored for a while.
Yeah, I didn't think it looked very good, just like visually either. Like, I looked at that, I was like, oh, it looks a little clunky. It looks a little slow comparatively to some of the other.
I thought it was a mobile game.
For someone who doesn't know about gaming, I was like, oh, that looks a little lackluster. And I will say, when I first heard of an Invincible game, I was like, oh, that could be really cool. That could be really, really awesome.
Yeah.
I think just inherently my mind went to, and I know there's a lot of people that's like, well, not everything needs to be open world, and that's true. That is a very fair point. But also, the idea of an open world Invincible game is so exciting. Like, that prospect, just like the freedom of that is so fun to me. I feel like it could almost be this mix of like a Spider-Man PS4 and almost like a Grand Theft Auto, just in terms of like
100%.
Of like anything can happen.
It could be the Superman game that we never got.
Well, yeah, and like I love the idea that you could just like get thrown through a building. You know what I mean? I like that you could just get like thrown and hit like 10 people, and you know, like there's no. I love the idea there not being much of a moral compass in your game system in terms of what can happen in the narrative.
I feel like it would be such a tough game to make though, because you could literally just destroy the city in about 2 seconds. So then do you just have everything respawn, or do you somehow nerf your powers a little bit? Or
wouldn't that be cool if like your objective isn't necessarily survive, but it's don't kill other people, right?
Right. Is like maybe that's your health bar, right? So Invincible can't die. So you're not going to get killed, but your health bar is loss of innocent life.
Right, yeah, like...
And I think that was something that they tried to...
Don't let him throw you against, like, a school bus or something.
Right. I think that was something that they really tried to do with Superman games in the past, or what they struggled with. Is because, again, you're playing as literally a character who is invincible. Right? So how do you, number one, make the enemies a threat outside of, obviously, Viltrumites? But also, how do you make the game a challenge?
Right.
I did also see somebody say something pretty funny, or post something very funny. It was like, oh, leaked Invincible roster, and it was...
Man, damn it!
Like... leaked... roster.
There we go.
And basically they had like 20 Supermen and then like a couple other just like random characters. And it's like, you know what? That's kind of true. Is all these Viltrumites are gonna, for the most part, play very much so the same.
Yeah, like what's your dream roster? Because I feel like the most interesting characters are probably not the Viltrumites, right? Like obviously you want a couple, right? Like you want Mark, you want Omni-Man, you want Anissa, you probably want Conquest, right? Like those are the fun ones, right? But also I'd be way more interested about like obviously Adam Eve, Shrinking Ray, Rex.
Robot.
Would they
Monster
do?
Girl.
They would do Oliver, would they? That wouldn't make much sense.
I mean, they could. They could. Alan the alien.
Alan is a need. Alan's
Yeah.
a need.
Honestly, I
think...
like the selection that the Invincible Guarding the Globe mobile game has. And again, I thought that this was content for that mobile game when I first saw it. But
Sure.
yeah, I don't know. Like judgment reserved until I actually play/see the game. But it's not necessarily. It doesn't seem like something that I want to rush out and get. I will say, what may get me to get this game is if they do something like a big collector's edition where it comes with like a statue or something, just like a cool collectible kind of thing. Then I might end up getting the game specifically for that. But outside of it really doesn't seem like something I'd play for more than a week or so. There doesn't seem like a lot of depth, and the fact too that it's a 3v3 fighting game is a little odd to me as well. Like again, that seems very mobile game. Like I think there's like a Marvel game, right?
Yeah.
Where you pick like a roster of 3 and then you swap
Ultimate
in and out and you fight.
I think.
Yeah, and even in the Injustice game, in the mobile version of the game, or the version that you can play at like a Dave and Buster's or something like that, right? That is also a 3-person fight. So you got a team of 3, and they jump in and out, that sort of thing. So it seems very mobile gamey to me.
It does, and I don't always think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think this is only a win all around, just like for the show. Like I think the fact that it is popular enough to get a mainline console game is exciting.
Yeah,
that's
100%.
I'm going to be curious. I did notice it's an Xbox exclusive, it seems. So
no, it's not.
Oh, it's not?
It's not. No. It has a Xbox partnership, but that's really actually kind of brings me into a little bit of a next topic here. Is Xbox is trying to branch out to like all platforms. I think on the Xbox site now, it's like where can you play our games? Like they literally have the PlayStation logo on there. Is like they're releasing all their games on all platforms. So they want you to have access to all of these games no matter where you are. Are you on an Xbox, a new series console? Are you on PC? They're rebranding that as Xbox PC. Like any Windows computer is an Xbox PC. Cloud streaming. You can stream games to your phone. They just announced the new ROG Ally Xbox Super Ultimate, whatever the heck they're calling it, which is basically their Nintendo Switch, but it's a Windows PC handheld device that's specifically tailored for games. Yes, it's made to launch into the Xbox app, but you can still download Steam. You can still download Battle.net. You can still download, the Epic Game Store. And play from their competitors. I think the biggest thing that could happen that I think we're very, very close to is when you're allowed to download Steam on an Xbox. I think that will be huge. That is going to be massive. The fact that you can already turn your PC into an Xbox is great. But if you could turn your Xbox into a PC, like that'd be amazing. And I think that would really take down that barrier to entry for a lot of these PC games for people, is if you could access it through a console.
But do you think that does them a disservice when everyone else is having exclusive and they're not doing that as much? Do you think that
not at all? But I think exclusives are becoming a lot less exclusive. Think about all the PlayStation games that are releasing on PC. Like you can play Spider-Man 1 and 2 and Miles Morales on PC. You can play Ratchet & Clank on PC. You can play The Last of Us on PC. You can play God of War on PC.
Indiana Jones, yeah.
There's not a lot of exclusives left out there. I think what game companies have realized is exclusivity kind of kills games in a lot of ways. Yes, it's cool to be like, oh, get a PlayStation. This is the only place you can play Ratchet & Clank. I literally bought a PS5 to play Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart when it came out. But, a year or so later, it came out on PC. With the, going back to the Call of Duty thing, is Xbox used to get DLC a month early And then they went to a unified model where everybody got it at the same time, and it made a lot more sense to not leave people in the dust. But I do like the way that we're moving as far as anything can be a game console, and you can play any game on any platform, because it can obviously run on that platform. They just have to unlock the ability for it to be able to. Like, you're going to be able to play Gears of War on PlayStation, which is insane. The thoughts around it are you're going to be able to play Halo on your PS5 eventually. You know, these were things that were saved for fever dreams and giant troll videos back in the day, but it is becoming a reality, which is, I think it's a very big step and a very good step for gaming going forward. So I love that. I love it.